Hey, what is up, team? And welcome back to another episode of Semi-Final Prep. This week we are diving a little bit deeper into the training side of things, especially what Soph and I change up in our weekly training to prepare as best as possible for the semi-finals in 3 weeks. But I need to hurry up now because Soph is already waiting for me. So let's get to work. Alright, so training is a lot of fun lately, especially with the semi-finals coming up. It's so much easier to put into work and jump on that daily grind. One thing we changed on our weekly training schedule is that we start each session with kind of a 10-minute weakness work block. So that's a great opportunity to work on stuff you're just not good at, or introduce new movements like crossover single unders, crossover double unders. So he's doing a lot of ring muscle up work lately, strict wall facing handstand push-ups, and I just suck at everything with the jump rope. So I do 100 single unders, 100 crossover single unders, and 5 minutes of double under, crossover double under work each day. And it's slowly paying off. I mean, yeah, there's always something to work on. There's so many movements in CrossFit and you can always get better at them. But I would recommend to really narrow it down to 2 to 3 movements and then hit those movements 2 to 3 times a week. And that's where you can really make a big jump within kind of a small time domain. Okay, so another thing we changed in our weekly training schedule is that we do start 2 to 3 sessions a week with the Metcon. There are 2 or 3 things why we do that. First of all, you have to warm up properly, and I think that's one thing a lot of athletes neglect when it comes to warming up on the actual competition day, so you can practice that. And second, put the priority first, because you're fresh and you can maintain a higher intensity like you would do on the competition floor. If you always do the workouts fatigued, you're probably not 100% sure what your all-out gear is because you already did a lot. And the last point is for the strength and the weightlifting parts. It also makes sense to practice doing your snatches and clean jerks under fatigue. It's a whole different game. If your midline is fatigued, it's super hard to get close to your 1 AM. And that's what usually gets tested on the competition floor. So for the workout today, we are doing an old semi-final workout. I think it was from 2022, Strength and Depth. Tweaked it a little bit to have some synchro movements in there as well. But yeah, that's also a big recommendation. Check previous workouts from the competition you attend and then sprinkle them into your training to get some touches on things which showed up in the past.
It was fun doing it in a team. A little bit tough with the breathing during the handstand walk. For me, I always hold my breath too long and that's so really pressing it out. But overall, fun to do it in a team. And I think that's nice about the team competition coming up. So Louis and I can do more team workouts. And when we are back in Cape Town on Friday, for the next 2 weeks, we can do more team workouts in a team of 4. Super important to get to know each other. What are strengths and weaknesses? How do we need to pace certain things? And also doing, of course, synchronized stuff. And yeah, communicating. I mean, if you do it just on your own, you can race yourself or just do whatever you want. But if you're in a team, you need to communicate, even though you're super fatigued. And yeah, I think that's super important. For the synchro stuff, make sure that you actually give no reps if you're not synchronized with your partner or partners. Don't make it too easy for yourself. So for example, you do snatches. Usually you would prefer to face each other. Makes it a little bit more easy to see each other if it's synchronized or not. But if you're one is in the back, one is in the front, facing the same direction, which we probably would see in a competition setup, that's also something you have to practice and to work on, figure out who's in the back, who's in the front, etc.
So should we do another accessory part with your favorite type of equipment?
What's my favorite type of equipment?
We all know what it is.
I don't know.
Okay, we actually don't have a warm in the gym, but this punching bag does the trick. It's actually a little bit stiffer than a regular warm, which makes it way easier to handle. You know what I mean? Great substitutes are sandbag or D-ball holds. You can do it with kettlebells as well, and it's a great accessory part you can do after your session. Low impact, but really great for the midline.
Back on the track, second session for today, double training day, pretty much the last double training days we have. We are now 3 weeks before the competition, so that means we slowly start to decrease the overall volume but kind of increase the intensity. That means usually we have like 3 double training days per week. Now we only have 1, or even like in the next couple of weeks, like in the next week, we won't do any double training sessions at all. But on the other hand, we want to keep up the intensity. That means like really focus on the Metcons, warm up for that, and also have like weightlifting parts which are quite heavy, so it's quite intense. 800 meter intervals on the track. Happy to be back on the track. It's still pretty cold. I don't know what's wrong with Germany. Yeah, I would say, let's go.
Okay, back for our third session this week. Definitely can feel it already, intensity is kicking in, but I guess that's a good thing. That's how it should feel when you're prepping for a competition. So we're starting the session today with a weightlifting part, snatch complex, and I would always recommend to keep some heavy touches in your program. It does not need to be a 1 rep max, but like fairly heavy, so you can build confidence with those heavier loads. Another thing we try to do is to keep the weightlifting formats like you would usually see them on the competition floor. For example, last year they had a format where you were only allowed to lift every 5 minutes. That's quite long, so a lot of rest in between. Make sure to practice that in training. Maybe you need some air squats in between, some push-ups or whatever to get ready for your lifts. So yeah, power snatches, squat snatches and overhead squats today, starting with a snatch pull. Let's see how heavy we can go. Back in Cape Town at Motley Crew.
First address. We're actually here for the mashup. They planned like a really nice in-house competition with 3 workouts in like roughly 4 hours, which is perfect prep for the semifinals. And yeah, we would definitely recommend it to sprinkle something like this in to your training plan leading to a competition. Really nice to work on how to fuel in between events and stuff like this, and also get a nice intensity and a really nice vibe over here. What you can do instead is just do a workout, rest for 30 minutes or something, and then do another workout, or even a third or a 2-part workout, something like that. So that's also a nice simulation for a competition.